I go about very much trying to understand what it's like to be a cop. You know, I know that you've seen some things that I've never seen, never will see. Seen some things that might even occasionally cause nightmares for you still. You know, and I cannot tell you the relief that I have and the gratitude that I have that you elected to do that instead of me. You know, and there are very few things in my life that I hold in higher regard than enforcing the law. Time is very important to me. Time is very important to everyone else that I talk to, and I don't waste any moments on political diplomacy, beating around the bush, repairing the plane while it's flying kind of stuff. I'm very straightforward. And I was hoping that you would be able to handle that because you're the sheriff and you're the guy who told the whole county I can handle anything that drops in my lap. You know, and so I would like to be open and honest with you, but I'm going to have to let you know you're going to hear a lot of things that are pretty uncomfortable and unpleasant.
Okay.
So I don't know if there is a word that really adequately describes the level of contempt that I have for law enforcement agencies in this country. I mean, in my experience, Merced and Fresno, but really it's a systemic issue across the country. And the reason why this is the case is because you're looking at a guy with a squeaky clean, perfect record. Absolutely perfect. A whole life of obedience to the law, as illegitimate as they are, you know. Regardless, I remained obedient. If I were sheriff and you were me, and I asked one of my captains, you know, I'd like to know which citizens in the county are the best citizens, the ones that are never a problem, you know, have kids, go to work, come home, do all the normal, regular, average American day stuff. And if those people are saying that they hate me, that would be an alarm for me. Because I'm really worried about what the bad people want to do. Because I'm the guy who is always helpful, always law-abiding. You get the whole kit and caboodle. It's just very odd to me. Very odd to me that I'm being avoided like that. I don't know if he sort of looked back and forth or looked at her or something, but he looked at me and said, "Open that door or I'll arrest you." And I just said, "I can't wait for you to cite me the source, cite me the statute in which I can be arrested and placed in a cage for not opening your door." And he just kind of stared at me. We stared at each other for a few seconds. He walked around behind me, started pulling out his cuffs. And so then, to avoid what I knew would be a very large headache that I didn't want to deal with in the future, I went ahead and opened the door, and he, you know, followed me out and said, "Don't come back." And I hope you can truly understand what that experience means to a man who demands integrity and a man who demands freedom for everybody. To be told, "Open that door or I will arrest you." And he was using this ridiculous broad stroke, you know, blanket statement, PC 148, as in the cops now think, well, if I tell somebody to do something and they don't do it, I can arrest them. That's terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. And I thought about it for a while. I sat back and I said, I'm trying to think of one other circumstance in the world in which those words could leave a person's mouth and the community think that's normal. And I thought, that's a king. It's the only other time in history in which a person could speak those words and everyone else in the community says, yep, you got to do what the king says. Or you get thrown in jail. I just couldn't believe, again, that was my reward for a lifetime of service and a lifetime of obedience.
You're putting yourself as a citizen in the same category as a peace officer, and that's not the same.
So I agree.
Okay.
Peace officer is beneath the citizenry. It's public servant.
Okay.
Right. I mean, you guys elect to support the public. We're the only country that I'm aware of in which the leaders, the authority figures, the rulers are underneath the public. Right?
Well, that's your opinion on that, and I'll just let it go at that.
Well, it's not opinion. It's the truth, they say.
Okay, all right.
I'll
sit here and let you talk about that.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get in there with that because I hold I'm going to say two categories. I am a peace officer, but I'm also elected by the people to do a job.
Mm-hmm.
So and by your statutes that we're beneath society. By sharing your opinion, I know where you stand. But
well, again, I want to make sure we're clear. It's not an opinion. These are your words. You said that I'm going to dedicate my life and my time and my energy to defending and maintaining these people's rights. That means you're serving them, right? You are, as far as, but I know beneath doesn't really sound like the greatest word,
okay.
But as far as the hierarchy is concerned, your boss is the people of California.
I agree.
Right? So
citizens of Merced County.
Oh, sure. Well, I mean.
Okay. All right.
Second is you have to be able to discern between legitimate and illegitimate laws. That is so absolutely essential. And the one that I'm going to use just off the top of my head is the open and concealed carry stuff. And Constitution, Second Amendment, I mean, you know all about it. Like, right to bear arms shall not be infringed, and then here's California with the exact opposite. And California, very first line of the California Constitution, California concedes all authority to the United States Constitution. Very first line. And if I were sheriff, I would call today the governor and say, I'm not enforcing your laws, and I'm openly making that clear to the public. Not enforcing open and concealed carry laws. And I always get the argument from cops all the time about I have to follow U.S. law, I have to follow California law, and I say, that's great, I hope you do that, but you have to satisfy these enormous discrepancies where you have, an actual biological function of protection, which is enumerated in the United States Constitution and the Second Amendment, saying you have the right to protect yourself. It doesn't even say anything about guns, right? It just says protection for defense. And here's California, because in the magic land of rainbow ponies, legislators just like to write whatever they want, and then all the cops say, well, that's what we're doing now. And I just think, well, if someone is running a county and someone knows how to discern between legitimacy and illegitimacy, they would call the governor and say, sorry, I'm not doing it. And I know that puts your job at risk, and I know that puts you in an incredibly uncomfortable situation, but that's what the sheriff has to do. That's what the sheriff should be able to do.
Okay, I'll comment on that.
Sure.
If you've got that strong of an opinion on that, you're still a young man. Do like I did. Put yourself through the police academy. Get hired with a law enforcement agency and get your certificates that require this. Meet the standards and do like I did and run for sheriff, and then you'll be able to do what you're talking about because you're very passionate about that. So if you were going to do something along those lines, and you wanted to be able to do that, but that's how you're going to be able to do that, is to be able to go through that and have that. And when you do complete that, you're going to understand that it's not just the sheriff. The sheriff also has the court system to deal with. We arrest somebody, then what? We got to go through the courts. There's a whole dynamics to it, and I think that once you've been through that and have a full understanding of what we need to do, then take your passion to that level.
But how does that satisfy this discrepancy of California saying we can't carry a weapon and the U.S. Constitution saying we can? Are you saying that I can't satisfy that discrepancy until I'm in charge?
Apparently, like I said, it was in all the papers. I'm issuing gun permits at a staggering rate.
Gun permits are illegal.
Okay, well, then...
Do I need your permission for a gun?
Not to own and possess one, but it does to carry in the public.
Why? What are you doing? What are you granting me that I don't already have?
I've already explained that. I'm issuing permits.
But you can't. Because you agreed to defend that right for me to carry that weapon.
Okay. I just answered it, so...
But you didn't. You didn't, though. I mean, you gave an answer, but it didn't satisfy the obvious discrepancy.
Okay. Okay. That's the answer I've got. And if you've got an obvious discrepancy, then, like I said, take it up and take it to the next level for yourself. You're obviously very educated, and you could probably do this, and if you have that strong of a passion, then that's what I would suggest you do.
No way. There's no way that I'm going to burden myself with the task of finally getting everyone to follow the law. Okay. That's what you're there for. We all hired you to take care of this.
Mm-hmm. And I'm doing it.
How? You're not taking care of it by violating it.
Okay. Again, you don't have the proof that I'm violating anything.
Do you need more proof than looking at the constitutions?
I've been reading the Constitution.
Well, then how do you explain that? The Constitution says... No, you
Move
didn't.
on to the next question, or the
Okay.
next comment.
All right. Well, there's going to be more follow-up questions in that regard.
That's fine.
Okay. I want some judges arrested because I was placed in an illegal courtroom with a legal procedure, and I want all my money back with damages. And I expect you to do that.
Well, that's not going to happen for me, so you're
Why
going to
not?
need more than just you sitting across the desk from me telling me I need to arrest some judges.
I'm happy to show you all the evidence.
Okay, regardless. Okay, you also know that the laws make judges immune to some of this stuff, so.
Really? What are the judges immune to? Because I understood it as there's not one person in the country who is above the law.
Okay, judges are immune. Maybe it's for lawsuits or something along those lines. So that's what it. Okay.
I don't want a lawsuit.
Well,
I
I'm
want
not
them
going to be
arrested.
arresting any judges.
Why not?
Okay.
What if they're breaking the law?
If there's an issue outside of it, you know, but for your say so that they're breaking the law is not been washed with me.
I'm not giving opinion. I'm telling you what happened. This isn't me coming up saying that I think this is the case.
Okay.
I'm telling you, the judge walked up, got off the stand, and left proceedings when he was talking to me.
Okay.
Because he was abundantly clear this was an illegal courtroom with illegal proceedings. The judge told me himself, I don't represent anybody. And if a judge is telling you that I don't represent anybody and that I'm not under oath, I'm showing up to a Girl Scout meeting.
Okay.
I don't owe anything to the citizen Donald Shaver, right? I am subject to judicial review only, not administrative review. And if some judge tells me I'm not representing the state of California, I don't have to show up to that meeting. But they said, well, if you don't show up, we're going to continue on without you, and then you're going to be held to this fine and this charge. And that's illegal. It's a violation, direct violation. I was told in court, you do not have a right to a trial by jury, which would be literally the exact opposite of what they agreed to.
Oh, what kind of a charge was it?
Speeding.
Okay, it's an infraction.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not subject to that.
You're not subjected to what?
No, I'm not subject to administrative review. No one can show me the evidence that I'm subject to the California Vehicle Code.
Can you?
Not even the judge himself. Sorry.
Well, no, it's all right. No. Okay. Again, I don't know how to answer that for you so that it's going to satisfy you because I'm not going to go arrest a judge for something you claiming is illegal.
Well, then you're not a cop.
Okay.
I mean, I just need to make sure we're clear. I mean, you and I are enemies. And
I'd like not to think that we're enemies
I
because
would
we
hate
have a
to think-
difference of opinion.
It's not a difference of opinion.
But-
I am stating the facts, and you're not delivering.
Okay. Okay. All right.
That makes you not a cop. And I believe me, I would hate to say that we would be enemies, but I assure you, if this is how you're running things, if we see each other out in the field, you will not have my cooperation.
Okay. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. And I'm sorry to think that we're enemies because we have a difference of opinion on something.
Yeah, but your difference of opinion throws me in a cage, and you can't tell me why.
I mean,
You're not a
responding that way or not responding. Okay.
I mean, you're literally not a cop. You said that I am going to do these. You said that there's these rules that we call the Constitution, or in this specific case, the Bill of Rights. And these are rules that I love so much, I'm going to dedicate my life to defend them. That's how much I love these rules. And I'm saying, follow these rules, and you're saying, nope. And that's it. You're just saying, I'm not responding, move on. And doesn't that sound odd to you?
Apparently it does to you.
You mean it doesn't sound strange to you that you said, I'm going to...
I think what you're requesting me is very strange.
It's not justification for not doing it. It doesn't eliminate the injustice. Just because the task is insurmountable does not justify not doing it. The task was insurmountable for a bunch of broke colonists to fight the largest empire in human history. Yeah, that was a huge undertaking. It didn't justify not doing it.
Okay.
And if you get, I mean, I don't get it.
It's obvious you don't get it, so we'll move on.
Actually, I think I do get it. I think
Okay.
you don't get it, is what I'm saying.
Okay.
I don't get how you don't get it.
Okay.
No one's above the law. And it's not my opinion, it's just reasonable, standard logic. And it just demands that every officer who breaks the law officer, the executive branch, judicial branch, legislative branch, doesn't matter, pay the exact same punishment as anyone else. No one is exempt. No matter what BS legislation California comes up with, that protects police officers or protects judges, it doesn't matter. You're supposed to be the one that says, it's very adorable that you guys came up with this statute, but I'm not enforcing your legitimacy. I'm not enforcing laws that impose upon the citizenry. I'm not enforcing laws that violate the enumerated rights in the Constitution upon the citizenry. That's what a sheriff does. I wanted you to be that Kurt Russell dude, the one in Tombstone that says, this is the way it's going to be. I know what I'm doing, and I don't care what, I don't care what fluff people come up with. I'm going to handle business. I'm going to do what I told the community I was going to do. Again, I never tell anybody what to do. I'm not coming in here saying exactly, that you have to do what I say. I'm saying what I would do if I was sheriff, and I'm supporting what I claim with, a little document called the United States Constitution, and this is exactly why I wanted it captured, was because I want people around me to know that there are enforcers of the law that say I'm not going to enforce the law. And that's what was really odd to me. When we were talking on the phone, you were saying, well, at first you were pretty hesitant to be recorded. And I just said, I don't remember the exact words I shared with you, but what are you going to say to me not on camera that you have to conceal?
Exactly right. That's why we're doing how we're doing it.
But you first didn't want to do that.
Well, having never met you before, I didn't know.
Why does it matter?
It does matter to me. I don't know
if you've never met me, the second time you meet with me, are you going to use different words? Are you going to give different answers? Why would it matter if you've met me or not?
Well, but we are being recorded. And okay, so.
Because I insisted on it, not because it was something that you did on your own volition. I mean, you did that on your own volition, but that was after I insisted on this.
And that's fine. Okay, we're being recorded.
Right, but can you see as a citizen, listening to a sheriff saying, I want to meet with the sheriff, and I just feel, just for my own amusement, the freedom of the press means the freedom to capture and journal, make a log of your life. That's what the press is. And I was being told you can't journal your experiences when you're around me. So I have the authority, and I'm saying me, the sheriff, I have the authority to throw a person in a cage, and I'm not going to tell them everything that they need to hear, or I'm not going to say everything that I want to say to them because it's not on video. It's pretty alarming.
Well, no, that's not what was going on.
That's exactly what it was. You didn't want to be recorded.
All right. But we are being recorded, so
now,
I guess that's a moot point.
Not really. It's an issue that still needs to be addressed. It's a systemic issue in the system.
Okay.
But a lot of the issues you're saying we need to move on past the subject.
Well, because you're not satisfied with the answer I gave you, and so that's where we're at with that.
But it's not me you need to satisfy. These are your words. You're the one who made these promises, and I'm showing you how you didn't fulfill these promises. And you're saying, well, I'm not satisfying you. And I'm like, I'm never asking anybody to satisfy me. Right? I just want you guys to obey the law. I want you to satisfy your own promise, your own bond.
Okay. And according to your opinion, I haven't been, so again...
Not an opinion. I never gave you an opinion. All I'm doing is saying what happened.
Okay.
I never once told you ever how I feel.
Well, I guess you saying that we're enemies isn't how you feel?
Not at all. That's simply the truth.
Okay. So we are enemies?
Yes.
Okay. Well, Mr. Spencer, just so that you understand I don't view you as an enemy. I view you as a citizen that's very passionate about something. Some of the things that you're bringing up to me are far-fetched, and you don't agree.
Wait, I want to stick with that, if I may. How are they far? What am I saying that's so outrageous?
Two things we've already discussed. You want me to arrest a judge, and you want me to get on a plane, your words, get on a plane and fly to Washington and arrest the president.
Yep.
Okay.
I mean, I'm trying to make you famous, man. You're gonna lose your job, but you're gonna make $10 million from your.
Well, you know what? If I lose my job, then that's on me.
You're gonna be the most famous man in the world, walking in there and arresting the president of the United States for breaking the law. Can you imagine? I mean.
I know. You know what? I don't deserve that kind of being infamous in that category.
You're not infamous. You're doing your job.
If Mr. Spencer, and if I'm not doing my job, I'll lose my job. Okay, so we'll just let that.
That's my problem, though, is the people who aren't doing their job aren't losing their jobs. Those judges aren't losing their jobs. What if the judge does a hit and run? Would you arrest him?
Yeah.
Why?
If he committed a crime.
Ding, ding, ding.
then you're never going to be satisfied. So,
Why do you keep thinking you have to satisfy me?
because you're the only person out of the 295,000 citizens of this county that seems to think that I need to go arrest Barack Obama. You're the only person out of the 295,000 citizens of this county that says I need to arrest a judge. If they were doing this on a regular basis, do you think that I would have had contact with a bunch of folks?
Do you think if there's only one person, then the truth just vanishes? If it's just one person that's bringing these things up, then all of what I'm saying just didn't happen. Is that what you're suggesting?
That's what you're suggesting.
No, that's what you just suggested. You said I'm the only person in 300,000 people that are bringing these issues up. And if more people were bringing it up, now I'll start thinking about obeying the law. Now I'll start thinking about enforcing the law. The beauty of this country, one man and the law outnumbers all other votes. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what California comes up with, they can say that I have to go ask you for a license to carry a weapon, and I don't. Because one man and the United States Constitution outnumbers every other vote. All of the 29,999,999 people.
Okay.
Well, I mean, are you saying okay like I'm right, or are you saying okay because you want me just to go on a different issue?
Let's do a different issue. You got about 5 minutes. I'll give you an hour.
Well, you didn't give me an hour. I used up an hour that already belonged to me. This hour belongs to me.
However you want to word it. That's
Well, I just want to make sure we're clear. You know,
Okay, we're clear.
No one's giving me anything. I'm
Okay.
not trying to get anything from anybody.
Okay.
I mean, you're saying that I'm coming in here and I'm trying to get satisfied. I'm just laying down what happened, and I want to know what you're going to do about it. And I want them to know what you're going to do about it.
Okay, that was very, very poignant. Okay, that's how we're going to deal with the judges and the president. Okay,
It's very unfortunate.
okay.
It's very unfortunate to know that what we are calling the enforcer of the law, the one that we rely on to defend us, is gone. And they say, well, I'm only going to do it under these other terms that I never agreed to, that you never agreed to, that you were never a part of. Right now I'm playing in this football game over here, but I'm never supposed to be in this football game. I'm playing baseball, right? These are the rules that I am bound by. So,
I strongly support you with your passion with regard to what we're talking about.
I
Okay,
don't think you do.
but I really do. Okay, I just did. We sat here and
Just me hearing a bunch of stuff in a meeting doesn't prove anything.
okay, I would explain to you I'm not flying to Washington. I've already explained to you that I'm not going to arrest
You
a
don't
judge.
support me. You
I
don't
support
my
your
passion.
right for the passion
No, you don't.
that you have.
No, you
All
don't.
right. Okay, so, did you have anything else you wish to discuss?